Okay, had a yummy lunch and now heading to the beginning of the gap and starting the climb towards Frostburg. So just past the mile 0 for the Great Allegheny Passage and starting the rail trail heading to Frostburg. Starting the climb along the Great Allegheny Passage. This is a very moderate climb but very long towards the eastern Continental divide, and I'm thinking that somewhere along this route I may come across a friend that I made during the recent Ragbri ride, my friend Bruce, who is riding in the other direction, and somewhere along this path I suspect we'll run into each other, so we'll see. The reason that this climb is so long but not steep is the railroad. The engineers wanted to make sure that this is a shallow climb so the trains can actually carry the load up the passage. So it's very long, but as you can see, not very steep. So far it seems as if the gap is much busier than the Canal Towpath. Oh, here's a train. How beautiful is this? Check this out. These are rail bikes. This is awesome. This might be Bruce and Company, I'm not sure. Bruce and I ran into each other, or met each other at RAGBRAI this year. I spent a couple of nights in churches which were air conditioned and not in my tent, and he slept right next to me and we chatted. Both found out that we are planning of doing the Gap and the C&O Canal, and it was great seeing him and seeing his buddies. They're going in the other direction, and they're going to be spending the night just south of Cumberland. So this is the climb to Frostburg. The city is on top of a hill, and they made these switchback trail for cyclists. Okay, leaving the dormitory and heading for breakfast. I was the only one in the room, which was fantastic, but the surprise, and very fortunate that I got to do this, as it is totally raining now, and had I been in a tent, the situation would have been not so pleasant. Approaching the breakfast venue. I really hope it's open. And it is open. My lucky day. So I just left the breakfast diner, and as I was leaving, I was told that Mike and Carol took care of my check. How nice is that? So they paid for my breakfast, and now I'm heading down the road. There's a steep downhill to go back to the trail, and then left turn on the trail and heading towards Pittsburgh. Good morning again. So again, this is the morning of day 4. Tomorrow is the last day of the ride. Today I'm riding from Frostburg to Connellsville. I think I'm saying it right. And it's going to be about 75 miles. Yesterday was about 80. And then tomorrow it's a fairly short day of just 60 miles to Pittsburgh. I'm continuing the climb today. This is the climb to the Eastern Continental Divide, and which I think is just above 2,300 feet or something like that. That's it. The weather is, I'm hoping, improving. I just put some bags on my gear to make sure that it doesn't get too wet, but we'll see. Right now it's just a very mild drizzle. It used to be part of the rail route, and I'm about to enter a rail tunnel that went through the mountain. Looks very cool. This tunnel has the sensor lighting system that the lights come on as you pass by a sensor. Here we go. And I think the tunnel is almost over. Here are the solar panels that provide power to that sensor system I just spoke about. Coming up on the Dixie Mason line. This has some historical importance, and this is it. This is the location, and we have this granite thing here that identifies the exact line. Here we go. We're passing it right now. Here are the two family, the Penn and the Culverts. Wow, the Mason-Dixie line. Super cool. You know, I'm gonna stop maybe and take a picture. So this is the line that designates the demarcation line between Pennsylvania and Maryland. Very cool. I am now entering Pennsylvania and gonna remain in Pennsylvania for the remainder of the ride. The Mason-Dixon line, if I understand it correctly, is where these are the names of the two surveyors who identify the exact borderline between the two states. I believe, if I remember correctly, that there was some sort of a dispute at one point in time, and they were the ones who resolved it. As you can see, the weather is not great, but it's not horrible. At least it's cool, and it's a little misty, but not extra wet, and so far so good. Approaching the second tunnel for the day. This one looks very cool. And this one is well lit. So that's exciting. Oh, and it's much longer. This was a fairly long tunnel, and I'm reaching the end of it. I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. Is that enough of a cliche? Crossing mile marker 23. I think today I need to get up to mile marker 90 or so. Now this is exciting. I am coming up to the Eastern Continental Divide. I think that this is the highest point on the route, just over 2,300 feet. And from here on out, it should be downhill, I hope. We'll see. The watershed. This is the Continental Divide, and here's the line. Wow. So yesterday I started in Cumberland, and this is the route. And now I'm here, and from here on out, allegedly, it is all downhill. Starting the downhill from the Continental Divide, the Eastern Continental Divide. Well, the weather did not last. Now it's officially raining. And I'm happy that I put the homeless bags on my gear. These are garbage bags that I put over my bags that are not waterproof. My saddle bag is waterproof, but the rest is not. So I put some garbage bags on. And I'm glad that I did, as it is fully raining now. I must say that I don't mind this rain. It's a light rain so far. There have been moments where it was a little harder, but now it's light. And the surface that I'm riding on is gravelish kind of surface that is very porous, so the upper layer stays dry and not muddy, which is great. And it's nice and cool, not cold, but cool. And with the light rain, the colors of the leaves are just incredible. So I don't mind it. It's actually kind of nice. Check out this old bridge. It's so beautiful. I think this is the bridge that was moved. It was actually located elsewhere, and they moved the bridge. This bridge was actually moved twice. It was first moved over 100 years ago to be a farm on a farm road somewhere, from a railroad to a farm road. And then in 2007, they moved it here to the Gap. This is the train station for Mayersdale. So I'm coming to the train station at Mayersdale, and there are a few cyclists there just sitting and charging their devices, and one of them says to me, "Hey, aren't you the YouTube guy? I recognized your voice." I just could not believe it. Unbelievable. So his name is Joe, and he's the guy you see in the picture that I just put up. And unreal, he's going to Cumberland. So funny. Can this be any more beautiful? Check it out. The yellow leaves, the green leaves. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a river on my right. It really, really is a magnificent bike trail. I don't know, I'm lost for words. It's just amazing. So our friend Little Annie gave me these essential electrolytes that taste like cocktails. So this one is peach Bellini. Gonna check it out. Peach Bellini. The colors here are truly like a painting. It's incredible. Really, really so brilliant. I'm not sure how it's gonna come out on camera, but in real life, it's magnificent. Initially, I wanted to do this route from Pittsburgh to DC, but surprisingly, the trains that can carry hundreds and hundreds of people only have room for 8 bikes, and all of those were taken, so the only option was to do the reverse, which is not that bad. It's fine. It's just a little different than what I had hoped to do. Another bridge going over the river. I am now in Confluence, stopping for a bite to eat. I saw a sign for a coffee shop, so I'm heading there. So this is downtown Confluence. Let's see, I think there's a coffee shop somewhere. As seen in Confluence. I don't get it. Maybe somebody can drop a note and tell me, why do they have this here? Okay, so leaving Ohio Pile. What a cute little place. Just stopped for some lemonade and some chocolate pretzels and was lovely. And now back onto the trail. I have 17 more miles to Connellsville. In checking the weather forecast, doesn't look too good. In fact, It seems as if it may start raining in the middle of the night around 4 a.m. So I know I'm soft, but I got a hotel room. So I'm heading to the motel. I'm about 3 or 4, maybe 5 miles away. So I'm very close. Gonna do my laundry again, charge my devices, shower, and head out to dinner. This is the entrance to Connellsville. I'll be turning into town in just a few minutes and then heading to the hotel. When staying at a cheap motel with nothing around it, I found a liquor store next door and left my bottles at the motel room and got a couple of IPAs. Okay, so got some beer. Now time for laundry and a bath and just some chillaxing time. Leaving the motel room, it still is very early, very dark as you can see, and heading back to the trail. It's about a 2-mile or so road ride to the trail itself. Still navigating my way through the streets of Connellsville towards the Gap. It was a little scary as I had to ride on a highway for a bit, but when the shoulders ended, I rode on the sidewalk and that was okay.
Turn right toward north.
Good morning. This is the very last day of this adventure. This is day 5. Heading today from Connellsville, doing the last few miles to Pittsburgh. It's gonna be just over 60 miles, maybe 62, 63 miles to Pittsburgh. This is cool. They took the old railway ties and made this cute little fence on the right here. Very cute. I love riding in these relatively early hours of the morning. The light is beautiful and I have the trail to myself. I've been riding for more than an hour and have not seen a single soul. I have the trail all to myself. Oh, here's mile marker 101. This is a project of a local artist. I think that her dad was a coal miner, perhaps her grandfather, and she is making these mosaics in areas that are related to the coal mine or something like that. Check it out, it's very cool. The mosaic artist has a nearby studio, but it was still closed as it is fairly early in the morning. I suspect she opens a little later in the day, so next time. I think this is a new project. Look at this. Wow. Very, very cool. I knew that Pennsylvania is the center of coal mining, but I now learned that the place that I'm at right now used to have a coal mine called Banning Number 1, and in 1907 had a major disaster. 239 miners perished in an explosion. My plan is to have a couple of stops, one in about a mile or two, to sit and have a leftover pizza slice from last night, and then a couple of miles later I think I'm coming on to the town of West Newton. I'm gonna see if I can find a cup of coffee. That'd be nice. Just past Cedar Creek and heading over, looking in about a mile or so. I'm gonna be looking for a bench for my little pizza break. A few miles ago I had my little pizza, and now I'm coming up on a turn to West Newton, which is just off the trail, and I'm hoping to get some coffee there. I found on Google some bakery that looks promising. I'm gonna go check it out. After one yummy Danish and a good cup of coffee, heading back to the trail. So this is the famous red waterfall that originates from a mine with a lot of iron in it, hence the color, and there's also a little bit of smell, but we're not going to talk about that. Now at the tiny town of Buena Vista, which happens to be also the old name of San Francisco. So you can claim that I came from Buena Vista and I am back in Buena Vista. So in this part of rural Pennsylvania, you see all kinds of weird things. Check out this house that I just saw. Here they left part of the old railroad. This is the town of McKeesport. You see all kind of weird things when you're on the trail. This is one of them. This is incredible. This guy who just washed the boat washed my bike for me, so shout out to Regis Daniels. He's the man. What a sweet guy, and just was so nice, and my bike really needed the wash. So I'm now at the industrial side of McKeesport. Very interesting town. Beautiful riverside, kind of old-fashioned industry area. Not all of it is still going on. Some of it seems to be defunct, but very cool. This old brick warehouse, how beautiful is that? Wow. Just saw a sign. This is a steel pipe manufacturing plant, or was a steel pipe manufacturing plant. I'm climbing towards a bridge that used to be a railroad bridge and been converted as a cycling and pedestrian bridge. One more bridge on the way to Pittsburgh. Coming up to an area of rock slides. There are signs alerting riders to take out their earbuds so they can listen to possibly rocks coming down the mountain. This is the famous pump house where in 1892 Carnegie Steel tried to break a strike here. I'm about 6 miles or so from the finish line, and I can kind of smell the end of the trip of this adventure. This had been an unreal adventure. These 2 trails are so highly recommended. They were fantastic. Really, if you're into kind of gravel biking and nature, this is it. Doesn't get much better than this. Coming up to the eagle viewing area. A few years ago, they reintroduced some eagles to this area, and often, as I understand it, there are folks here with very high-powered binoculars looking at those eagles. We'll see if I can find those today. I'm not seeing neither the bird watchers nor the eagles, but allegedly they are to my left on the mountainside in those big trees. I think it's a little hard to see, but I'm gonna try and move the camera over so perhaps you can get a view of it. About to cross the river to downtown Pittsburgh. This is the hot metal bridge. Trains that were taking molten steel used to pass on this bridge. Making my way to Point State Park, which is the finish line for the route. Here is mile marker 147, and I have another couple of miles to go. So this is it. This is the finish line. Downtown Pittsburgh. Right by the fountain. Here's the bike. And this is all very exciting. While the two trails have a little less of a distance, the distance that I traveled was 365 and change, and now it's time to go to the hotel.